Hey guys, Johnny here. Before we jump into this episode, obviously most of you guys know this is based on a true story, and the actual dog Ruby unfortunately passed away in May. We recorded this episode in April, so we didn't know that at the time because it was beforehand. She passed away from a sudden, acute, untreatable illness. So I just want to let you guys know. So this is some pictures of the actual dog and Daniel ONeil.
Welcome back to the One Shot Podcast. I'm your host, Vincent.
And I am Johnny. Welcome back to episode 7 of the One Shot Pod.
Yes, I don't know what else to say.
This is episode 7. We're doing Rescued by Ruby today. This is the second episode we're recording today.
Yes, so we really don't have much to talk about. We actually went over our day in episode 6, and we actually we just did Uncharted,
which was a pretty solid film. We went in depth in that. Make sure you guys go tune into that.
We went very in depth in the cinematography.
Yes,
on
definitely. That. We also noted that we wanted one recasting, but if you guys want to know who that is, make sure to go tune in.
Yeah, you're going to have to tune into that episode.
Yeah, so Rescued by Ruby, let's hop right in.
Yeah.
This is a TVG rating with a 1 hour and 30-minute runtime, and it was just released March 17th, 2022.
Yes, and it was released on Netflix. It's a biography family drama film. It was released on Netflix, and the thing about this film is that it was kind of overshadowed by another movie that was dropped around the same time, which
we already did.
We actually reviewed, The Adam Project.
Yeah, that was our second episode, and that was probably one of my favorite movies I've seen of the year.
Yeah, it was a great movie, but this movie was overshadowed by it, and that's why some of the stuff for this movie we can't actually find.
Yeah,
because it was so overshadowed.
A lot of the information is not released on this film, which is unfortunate because we don't know a few things. Budgeting, we don't know how much the movie made, even though it was released on Netflix.
Right, we don't know how many watch hours
we don't know any of the stats.
Like we saw for The Adam Project.
We saw all of it. It was number 1 for 2 weeks straight when it was released.
Yeah, and this was on number 5, but it was still overshadowed by The Adam Project. It was a good film. Mm-hmm. It really was.
Yeah, without a doubt.
I have really not too much bad to say about it, but you said, we have other stuff to kind of break down here.
Yeah. One thing I noticed, even when I was looking into movie ratings, a lot of sites don't have this movie rated.
Yeah. Yeah,
and it's been out for over a month now.
Yeah, I did see that.
So that's pretty interesting. I want to jump right into the plot here.
Yeah, go ahead.
Let's start breaking it down. Chasing his dream to join an elite canine unit, a state trooper. Sorry, I'm going to restart that.
Good one.
I wanted to put his name in there, but I didn't.
Daniel ONeil.
Okay.
Fucking it up again, John.
Yep, that's what I do. Okay, so it goes... Chasing his dream to join an elite canine unit, a state trooper, Daniel ONeil, partners with a federal...
Do you want me to read the fucking plot?
I got it. All right, here we go.
I'm keeping that in.
No.
That's funny.
Chasing his dream to join an elite canine unit, a state trooper, Daniel ONeil, partners with a fellow underdog, clever but naughty shelter pup Ruby, based on a true story.
Yeah, and I did see something. One of my buddies sent me a TikTok, and it was saying how everything that says based on a true story is all part of the same cinematic universe. And it's
oh my God.
Oh my God. Johnny's reaction to that was fucking hilarious. His eyes just widened, and it was like he saw God.
Yeah, I did.
But that's very true, because I mean,
it's all true.
Yeah, it's all based on a true story.
So that it's all in the real world.
Yeah.
Which is pretty interesting. So this story pretty much is Daniel ONeil. He's a cop or a state trooper, and he wants more. He wants to be part of a canine unit that he's wanted for, I think, 9 years.
Yeah, he's tried out for 9 years, and this is his last chance, because you can't get
be 30.
in. Yeah, you can't be 30, and he's 29. So
the film follows him going and trying to try out, but he's not. They don't think he's qualified enough.
Right.
And then they say that the station or the state can't pay for another $10,000 dog.
Right. And I mean, that's very true.
Makes sense. So he finds out, Daniel ONeil, or whoever, the guy who plays him, which we'll get into, he finds out that you don't need a German Shepherd. So you can bring in your own dog. He just has to be smart and a bunch of other things.
Right.
In order to be a canine. So that's what he does. He tries and finds a shelter dog, which is Ruby, and at first it doesn't go well because Ruby is quote unquote untrained,
Right.
untrainable, and she doesn't listen to commands and everything like that.
Yeah.
And she tears houses apart, and then she's returned back to the shelter
Right.
multiple times.
And it was a great film, and once again another cinematic,
This was shot really well.
Yeah, the cinematography done in this was insane, and it's actually something we have never seen before. Never.
I've never seen anything like this.
Yeah, so that's
I
why
really enjoyed this.
That's why this one is pretty much more cinematography.
Yeah, I mean the story is good, but it's not like super great. I know it's based on a true story, but the script is a little lacking. But we're gonna jump into that a little bit later. I think we should jump into the cast and who played these great characters.
Yeah, you can start it off.
Number one, we have the dog, Ruby. Ruby is actually played by two dogs, Bear and Shiloh. And they both played flawlessly, and they were able to carry out the required stunts and the emotional beats.
And you see in the one clip after the movie, like they're messing around with Bear,
with
the pool, the kiddie pool.
Yeah, and actually Bear was a shelter dog himself.
Oh, really?
I found that out. Yeah, it's the fun Easter egg. So he was a shelter dog, and then they trained him to be a dog actor.
Oh, that's cute. That's
If
very
that's
very
what you
cute.
wanna call
That's heartwarming.
Yeah, I thought it was. It was really cute.
Up next, we have Grant Gustin as
This is your
Daniel
guy.
ONeil.
This was your guy.
Yeah, he is known for The Flash, Arrow, Batwoman, CSI Miami, and Glee.
He's
And
not really in too many other movies that I can really know.
No, because I think his contract for The Flash
It's so demanding.
it's almost like a Marvel contract. You can't really be in anything else.
Yeah, no, that totally makes sense. I mean, they're going on 9 seasons, so
Yeah, well, that was the big thing. Like, people saw him in this movie, and they were questioning if The Flash was done after season 8. A
Yeah.
lot of people were questioning if they were going to come back for a season 9.
yeah, no, that totally makes sense. I mean, normally, like you said, they have specific contracts that they need to follow.
Mm-hmm.
Like I know the Arrow, they got that guy,
Stephen Amell.
Stephen Amell. He wasn't in really anything else.
No,
for a
and
while.
it wasn't until his contract ended,
Yeah,
where he played in other stuff.
yeah, where his story came to an end.
Yep. Wrap it
So,
up, tie with a bow.
Yeah. Next on our cast list here, we have Scott Wolf as Matt Zarella. I liked him a lot.
He was good.
He actually played a really good role here. I don't know if I've seen him in anything before.
I haven't. I know
But,
that for a fact.
He is mostly known for Saved by the Bell, which is a really popular film. He's also in Nancy Drew, The Night Shift, Party of Five, and Perception.
Yep. The only one I know there is Saved by the Bell. I know the new Nancy Drew came out on the CW
Yeah.
a couple years ago, I think.
And speaking of Saved by the Bell, I actually figured out what that means. Years and years ago, like 100, 200 years ago, they would, well, it's a little dark here. People would die, and they weren't sure if they were actually dead. So when they would bury them with a string and bell. So if you were alive, you would pull the string,
And you
which
would
would
hear
lead
the
to the
bell.
bell. So you were literally saved by the bell. And they
Yeah.
would dig you up and like bring you back to life,
That's
essentially.
crazy.
So you wouldn't be buried alive.
I always thought it was a boxing term.
I didn't know what it was, to be honest.
I thought
until
it was a
figured
boxing
that
term
out.
because usually when you're in the ring,
Yeah.
the end of the round they ding
the
the
bell.
bell.
Yeah,
so
no.
they always say Saved by the Bell.
Yeah, I've always heard the term, but I've never really fully understood what it was until recently, probably this year even. So
Yeah.
I thought that was really cool.
I know I've heard that before,
so-
but I never really put two and two together.
Yeah, I mean, I don't even know what the movie is about, to be honest. Saved by the Bell.
Saved by the Bell is a TV show that came out.
Oh, it's a TV show. I thought it was a movie.
No, it came out around the
so that's
same
my fault then.
time, I think it was like, I don't want to say, I'm trying to think. I can't really think right now.
Oh, it was 1989.
Yeah.
It was 4 seasons.
Yep.
Oh,
So a
okay.
little bit after The Breakfast Club.
Yeah, it's the
Couple
same
years
same
after.
era.
Yeah.
So it makes sense.
Yeah, I knew it was an older show. I did
Yeah.
know that.
No, definitely.
Next up, we have Kayla Zander as Melissa ONeil. She is known for Supergirl, The 100, and iZombie.
I liked her a lot in this film. I'm gonna be honest. She played a really good role.
She actually did very, very well.
I was really impressed. She didn't have like a huge role, but she
Yeah.
did a good job with what she was given.
Yeah.
And I see a trend here. She's also in Supergirl, and so is
Yeah,
Grant
dude.
Gustin
Just wait.
because The Flash.
Just wait. You'll see more.
Yeah. So there seems to be some sort of connection. And obviously she's in that. And up next we have Camille Sullivan, and she plays Pat Inman, which is the character who works at the shelter, and she has a connection with Ruby the dog.
Yes.
And so when Ruby gets taken by Grant Gustin's character, Daniel ONeil, she gets very upset. And Ruby was about to be put down until Daniel ONeil rescued her and saved her. So she had a real big connection with.
Yeah, she really did. It was kind of like Ruby was her like second owner.
Yeah.
Almost.
And this is more relevant towards the end of the film. We understand why they have an even bigger relationship towards the end of the film.
Right.
But I don't want to spoil it right now. I want to just get through the characters, and then we'll talk about that in a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
But she is known for her work in Hunter x Hunter 2020, The Disappearance of, and that was in 2017, The Intelligence TV show from 2005-2007, and then Unspeakable from 2019.
Yeah, she seems like she has more under her belt than most of these.
Yeah,
most
definitely.
Of these, people.
Not that they're bad actors, but
No,
they still have
no.
a ton of credits behind them.
And up next we have Giacomo Baessato.
Sato?
I hope so. As Rick McGinnis, he plays the other shelter worker.
Yeah, I like him.
And he's known for Arrow.
What did he play in that? Because I
In
recognized
Arrow,
him.
I don't know.
Okay.
In DC's Legends of Tomorrow, he plays in one of the newer seasons. He's he's like a robot. He plays like J. Edgar Hoover, but he's a robot.
Yeah, no, I haven't seen it since like the first season or two of Legends.
Yeah, he plays in Supernatural. He's just a delivery guy in Supernatural.
Oh.
iZombie and Nancy Drew.
So another iZombie connection.
So there's a lot of connections here.
Yeah, so iZombie, Nancy Drew, Supergirl. There's a lot of connections between these characters here. And if we're going to jump into the director and the director's experience, not a ton of experience for this director, but she did a really good job on this film, and I'm happy with it.
Yeah, she did very well.
Her name is Kat Shea, and the film was scripted by Karen Jansen, and this was obviously based on the short nonfiction story by Squire Bushnell and Louise Duarte, and then it was turned into the next Netflix movie. So Kat Shea, she was known for directing the 1992 film Poison Ivy, not related to the DC.
Oh,
DC
really?
Universe. No.
Oh.
Something totally different, I believe. She also worked on The Rage Carrie 2 of 1999. She directed Nancy Drew and The Hidden Staircase. And she also has some acting credits behind her.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
That's interesting.
She was actually in Scarface, that popular film. I don't know if you ever heard of it.
Nah, I don't think I have.
You know, I'm going to be honest, I've never seen Scarface.
Me neither.
But I just know it's really popular.
That's got to be something we do in the future.
I think so. And she played a woman at a club in that film. And then she acted in her own film, The Rage Carrie 2 from 1999. She played a deputy DA.
Okay.
So that is pretty much the entirety of her credits. She doesn't have that much behind her. The last thing she did was in like 2007.
Really?
Not really that much there. But like I said, I liked her for this film. It worked, and because the story was already pretty much there for her. Because of the nonfiction.
Yeah.
But it worked really well.
It was very, very well. Visual effects, they were very minimal visual effects.
Yeah, I mean,
here.
what really can you do with this film?
Especially since it's based on a
effects?
true story. There's not really going to be CGI. There's not going to be, anything crazy.
One thing I noticed, there were the one scene where Ruby got away during the audition or tryouts for the K-9 unit. She ran in and grabbed a bee's nest, and there were a bunch of bees flying around and stinging everybody.
I did notice
I noticed that, and I don't know what else. Really, there was only a few other things. I know you have one thing here, but the bees was really the biggest thing that was noticeable, at least.
Yeah, no, I don't think I have anything, any other mistakes.
Yeah. So
from this movie, but that was pretty much the only thing. They just forgot to change the color. They literally just forgot to change the color of
the dog's point of view.
Yeah.
Yeah, but we'll note that more in our mistakes section of the film.
Yeah.
But we're gonna jump into some cinematography here, which is the big portion of the show on this episode.
Yeah. I mean, this was great. The movie kind of opens up with him kind of just getting ready, and then
getting ready for his day, kissing his wife goodbye. You meet his kid,
Yep.
He was young, and then it turns into him like going to the station. He's late.
Yep.
For his meeting, and that's kind of a throwback, or not throwback, kind of a
Call
connection
back to the Flash,
because he was
always
late.
Always late.
And then eventually there's a montage, and if you guys watched our last episode, Uncharted, I mentioned a montage. I really love watching montages in films.
Big montage guy.
I don't know what it is. I just really enjoy them. They work well, and if you do it well, it works.
If montages are done well, they're
good to watch.
They're beautiful.
This one was in the beginning of the film where it's just showing his day beginning as a cop. The montage begins, he's giving out a ticket to a guy who is speeding in a yellow car.
Yep.
And we see that guy later in the film, but we'll get to that. Eventually, it shows Daniel ONeil replacing a tire. And you would think, oh, this doesn't have any importance to the film. It's a really like blink and you miss it kind of shot. He's replacing a tire, and you kind of get a POV of where the tire is going to be placed. Like you see his face through the holes in the wheel wells, essentially. And it just looked really good. It was a really creative shot, something I've never seen before.
It was very, very creative.
It was like a 3-second shot. It was really, really minimal.
It was very quick. And when I saw it, I actually paused it like just recently.
So did I.
Like, because I rewatched it after I read that, and I was like, I don't remember that. And then I rewatched it, and then I paused it, and I was like, oh, that's actually really, really cool.
Yeah, that was similar to something that you pointed out from Uncharted with the lighter.
Yeah.
When he is lighting up the cannon.
Yep.
His lighter doesn't work, and he lights it on his pants. I didn't notice that, and you did. So it's things like that. It's a blink and you miss it kind of moment.
Yeah.
And this one I caught, and it was just really creative, and I really enjoyed it. It was something that was really cool.
You also have another one here.
Yeah. When we were introduced to Zarella, it looked like he was almost a villain in the beginning of the film, but he turned out to be a really good guy, and we like him at the end of the film. But as we were introduced to him, we only really see a shadow of his body.
Yeah.
So
he's standing up on that,
he had a position
ledge
of power.
Right.
Daniel ONeil was on the bottom, like on the ground level, and Zarella was up on his platform, and you only see his shadow because he's like underneath an awning, so you only see like the outline of his body, essentially.
Right.
And he looked a little bit menacing because he's supposed to be an official. He has more power than ONeil because he runs the K9 unit, and that's what ONeil was trying to get into. And ONeil notes that he's afraid of him multiple times. So
throughout this film,
when we first see Zarella, we only see his shadow, and then we eventually meet him with a few seconds later. Yeah, they meet in his office.
You have one more here, and then I'll jump into mine.
There is a shot of the no-kill list of shelters when Ruby is about to be put down.
Yes.
The woman, I can't think of her name, Pat Inman. I'm sorry.
Yes.
When Pat Inman is trying to find a place to
give home for Ruby.
She struggles to find somewhere because everything is taken up and there's nothing there. So she has a list of no-kill shelters and places that she could possibly give her to.
Right.
So she's going down the list, and the camera follows her as it goes down the list. Everything is crossed off.
Yeah.
I mean, it was a little sad.
Right.
But I mean, as it's shot really well, it's blurred at the top and the bottom of the shot, and you only see like what's in focus in the middle of the screen, which is more things being crossed off. And as you go closer to the bottom of the list, you see her on the phone with somebody, and you hear her on the phone with somebody.
Right.
And then she ends up crossing off like the final one on the list.
Yeah.
So she's not able to find anybody really.
Yeah.
And it was just shot really well.
It was.
It was dark. It was a little slow, and it just
sad.
It was sad, and it worked.
Yeah.
It fit the tone of the scene, and it worked really well. I liked it.
And one thing I want to point out for the cinematography here, it was
probably the most important one.
Beautiful.
The reason why we're doing this film.
Yeah. The way that this movie shows the perspective of the dog. They literally show you what the dog would be looking at in that moment. And I think this is major. I think this is absolutely insane. Because and I know we say this a lot on the podcast, but this is actually something we have never ever seen before.
Not at all. I know personally, I've never seen something
any
like this.
buddy cop dog, films, and even in just like regular kind of dog-ish films.
I mean,
you don't really.
Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
No.
Maybe every now and then you'll get like a POV of an animal when they're like running through a house or something like that, but it's nothing like this.
Right, but it's nothing like, because they kind of like fish-eyed the camera almost.
Yeah. They give it a different view.
And they color graded it where it's almost fully black and white, but not, because
You have a little
she
bit
can
of
see like the
saturation.
bright colors, like the yellows
and the greens and the blues,
yeah,
but it's really, really dull.
yeah.
So
And I think that is major, and I think they have to, like studios have to kind of pick up on this and show us more of this, because this was amazing.
It was really, really
I would
impressive.
love to see this in more films.
Yeah. I can only imagine watching this, like, say it released in theaters.
Yeah.
Imagine seeing that on the big screen, like seeing the dog's point of view, and you're like obviously just sitting in the theater, but you see this dog running through a forest, and you just see it's like a camera, like on his back essentially, or on his head, or whatever you want to.
It's
but it's so impressive. I was really, really impressed with how this is won, because this isn't a big budget film.
Yeah, there was a movie I saw years ago, and it was the same thing. His brother was in some branch of the military.
Yeah.
And he unfortunately passed, and his dog was left to the family.
Yeah.
I forget what movie it was. I can't remember. But if I saw that kind of those kind of shots in that movie, I think it would have made me love the movie even more. Like, it was a great movie regardless, but seeing those shots, I think it would have made me fall in love with it even more.
Yeah, I mean, there's a new film that just came out with Channing Tatum called Dog, and it follows Channing Tatum going, and I think
he's trying to deliver the dog to the family.
Yes, he's trying to deliver a dog to a family whose military member died.
Right.
And he was his, like, canine. And I haven't seen this movie yet, but I've heard about it. And if they added some sort of shots like this, I think that would work really well.
Yeah.
Like you said, movie companies need to pick up on this, because it would work really, really well in
really
certain films.
Yeah.
So, no, I just really enjoyed how they did this, and it kept the audience really interested, because it's something that we've never seen before, and I really enjoyed it a lot.
Yeah, and I saw another thing where they I'm pretty sure this is how they did it. They probably put like a clear whatever, what's something clear over the trash can.
Okay.
Put a camera under it, filled it with a little bit of trash when he throws the book away, when he throws the training manual away. And then they show him lifting up the lid to the garbage, looking in it, kind of searching a little bit.
Yeah.
Finding it and taking it out, and then you see him close the garbage can again, which I thought was a really, really cool shot.
Definitely.
Which you don't see a lot of.
No doubt you don't. And I think it worked really well.
You see little bits here and there, but you don't see a lot of that. And my last thing here is the transitions during that training montage with Grant Gustin and Ruby. You see a transition, and it's literally a page turn.
Yeah, it works really well.
I really enjoyed that, because it's kind of like they're going through the entire book. They're training through the entire book, which I really enjoyed, and it's kind of like a fun kind of little...
it's another little montage.
Yeah, but it's also like...
And it worked really well again.
Yeah, it's also like... You made me lose my train of thought. Thanks, John.
My fault.
It's okay. Let's jump into some music, John.
Yeah, so the music of the film, there were some songs that we actually know for once, and a couple that I didn't know, but I really enjoyed.
Yep.
So one at the end of the film, this one was called Hero by Grace Gustad. It was the final song of the film as the film ends.
Yep.
And Ruby rescues the boy, Pat Inman's son, it turns out to be. And I don't know, this song is really, really good. I really enjoyed it.
Yeah.
And so I'm listening to it, and I'm like, okay. I feel like I would actually listen to the song, like throw it in my playlist and listen to it.
It was very, very
really good. Another one is Keep On Going by Pillow Talk.
I don't know if I know that one.
I know the artist. I know the band, Pillow Talk, but I don't know the song. There's another one that kind of fits this dog movie like type. It's called The Magic of Passing Time by In Between, actually.
Yeah, I don't know that one either.
I don't know. And then I'll let you get this last one.
Love this one.
The classic song.
Classic, Johnny Be Good. Classic song used in a lot of dog movies.
A lot of dog movies.
I love this, and I loved it in Back to the Future too.
Yeah.
It was great. I love this song. It's just like whenever this song comes on, you know, it's going to be a good day.
Yeah, exactly. And I don't know, it just brings a sort of serotonin to this. I don't know, it gives off a happy tone and a happy vibe. And
Yeah, it really does.
It was used really well in this film, and I liked it a lot.
It was great in that montage scene. It was very, very good.
Yeah. I want to go into a bit of the script and then some of the improv.
Yeah.
There's not really much improv that we know of because, like I said, this film just came out recently. But I want to talk about the script a little bit because I was a little disappointed with how the script was written.
Which is understandable.
I know this was based on a true story, and I know there was a book written about this. So,
I didn't know there was a book.
Yeah, it was the nonfiction one I mentioned before, by Square Bushnell.
Oh, okay, yeah. I thought that was just the screenplay. I didn't know.
Oh, I gotcha. So yeah, I honestly thought the script was really weak. I'm gonna be honest. I feel like the actors could have done a lot better, but they were being held back by the script. And
yeah, Grant Gustin probably could have. I wish they gave him more kind of. I don't want to say create like give him more creative freedom because that wasn't it. 'Cause he played this character.
He played it well with what he was given. His
Yeah.
accent was really good,
Oh,
which
yeah.
we'll know in a little bit. But I just feel like the script was predictable. I mean, you kind of knew right from the get-go how it was going to go.
Right.
I mean, like, given it's a movie about a dog and a guy, and clearly they're going to get together at some point, but you knew exactly how it was going to happen.
So to be honest, I didn't know. I thought like he was gonna go through all the steps. To be honest, I thought he was gonna, go through the class, and then when I saw him not get into the class, I was like, okay, well, what's going on here? And then I kind of figured from there on what was gonna happen.
Okay.
But when he's at the tryouts, I kind of at first I kind of thought he was gonna pass the tryouts and take the class, and then go into that. But then the whole thing happened where Ruby picks up the beehive, starts swinging it around, doesn't pass. They don't pass the class. They don't pass tryouts to get into the class, and then it ends up being a happy ending.
Yeah, it does. And one thing I did note that I did like about the script, because I didn't really care for the script. I thought it was very corny, and it wasn't that great.
Yeah, that's fair.
But one thing I did like, I liked how they integrated into Grant Gustin's character, Daniel ONeil, about him being hyperactive and him having like ADHD.
Yeah.
I thought that was a good wrinkle of the script because it's relatable to a lot of people.
Oh, yeah.
Like, personally, I know I have ADHD and I have really bad focus issues. And like him, he taps his foot a lot. And that's exactly what I do.
Yeah.
I do it all the time. I was just doing it 2 minutes ago. But his need to stay busy, his need to his ability to not focus on things, it was noted. And I feel like that's relatable to the audience a lot.
Right, and it was a big thing there. It was noted a lot, especially with Ruby. Yeah, the scene where he's about to give up on training Ruby, he throws the book away, and his wife comes in, and she's kind of saying like, yeah, you were never the kid to sit down. You would have been better homeschooled with your own differences and like nothing.
Yeah, definitely.
Something like that. It was very good, and they touched on it very well about ADHD and all that sort of stuff.
Yeah, no, it really worked well. Now I want to jump into some acting.
Yeah.
I thought Grant Gustin was really good in this film, despite the lack of a good script.
Yes, he was very, very good in this film, and to see him do something other than the Flash superhero.
Yeah, I thought that worked well. In this film, he kind of plays like the happy-go-lucky type of guy, and I feel like he just did that really well. And I know you were pointing out to me his accent that he did.
Yeah, the accent was really, really good. He's a Rhode Island state trooper, and the accent that he has is just kind of spot on.
It worked really well. There were a couple other people who had accents in this film, and they did it really well as well. Yeah, I think he did good, but I feel like the script just held him back a little bit.
Yeah, no, it really did. The script did hold him back, but there's really not much else to complain about there.
Yeah, I feel like everybody did pretty solid.
Yeah.
And it wasn't like fantastic, but it wasn't like bad by any means.
Right.
This is an okay movie. It's a Hallmark movie.
Right,
essentially.
pretty much.
It's a family movie, so I don't think there was anything wrong with the acting.
Right.
I want to mention a mistake that happened throughout the film that we both noted here. It was minimal, but it was kind of a, like we said before, a blink and you miss it kind of moment.
Right.
It was during the bee scene where he's getting stung, and they show Ruby's point of view when Grant Gustin or Daniel ONeil goes to put his like collar or leash back on him.
Right.
And they show Ruby's point of view, and it's not in the right color grade. It's in a normal like human eye color grade.
Yeah.
Which
It's
was wrong.
normal coloring. When they kind of color graded everything else, kind of made everything darker, except like certain colors like yellows were very still there.
Yeah. I mean, it wasn't like major, but you would still notice it if you were paying attention to it.
Right.
So, yeah, I don't think there's any other mistakes unless you thought of anything recently.
No, I don't think there's really much else.
So I know there was one Easter egg that I found that I thought was kind of funny. It's nothing crazy, but Daniel says, I have a thing for superheroes, and I think we both think it's kind of a hint at the Flash,
Right?
And that's a thing at the end as well. Mel mentions superheroes,
Yeah,
and obviously it's towards the Flash. So I enjoyed it. I thought that was a little hint, and it was good.
and now we're gonna jump into movies ratings on websites.
Yeah, there wasn't that many, to be completely honest, because of how new this film is. Rotten Tomatoes currently has it at a 100, and this is as of April 29th, Friday. It's at a 100. I would not give it a 100. I think that's wrong. It's not a perfect movie by any means, but it's not terrible. I would probably put it somewhere in the 70, 75 range.
Yeah, it was a
Rotten Tomatoes.
It was a kind of barely passing kind of movie, but it was good. The cinematography in this was very key.
I think that's what carried this film.
Yeah,
because the script was not.
Yeah, the script was not really it.
Yeah, Metacritic didn't really have one, but there was 3 critic ratings, so I took the average of the 3, and that came to a 62. The highest was a 75, the lowest was a 50, and then there was one in the middle at like 60 something. So it averaged out to a 62 out of the 3. So that was okay. And then finally we have IMDb.
IMDb gave it a 7.1 out of 10, and I think that is actually perfect.
I think that's pretty spot on, to be completely honest. It, like we said, it was good, but it wasn't really great. But now if we can jump into some favorites, our favorite quote and our favorite scene, I guess I can go first. I mentioned this in the last episode with Uncharted, and mine was 2 in that movie. I had one of them as the montage scene, and in this one, I think you know where this is going.
Yep.
My favorite scene is the montage in the beginning. It works really well, and it's fast-paced. It's good, and my favorite shot in that is the tire scene, or the tire shot, where he's putting on a tire on somebody's car, and you can see him through it. I think it worked so well. I really loved it, and that's why that is my favorite scene. Now, my favorite quote, this is as follows. This is from Daniel ONeil, or Grant Gustin. You do this because you care about people. You want justice. You want endings to stories. Sometimes happy endings. Sometimes just closure. I feel like this works really well. It's impactful. It means a lot. And I feel like it's deep for the kind of story that it gives.
Yeah, I have another kind of deep quote that was one of my favorites. It's the conversation between Daniel ONeil and the older gentleman.
I liked him in this film, by the way.
Yeah.
We didn't really mention him in the cast because he's not a huge role, but he's like a supporting-ish role. I liked him.
So this was the whole conversation between these two characters. It was, you're giving up on her. Who's going to believe in her if you don't? Who believes in you? And then Daniel responds with, I've been lucky that way. And then the old man responds with, well, maybe that dog deserves some of your luck. And then Daniel talks to Ruby, and he goes, I'll try. If you try, I'll give you my all. And that was very, that kind of hit. It was very emotional scene.
Yeah, I mean, it's a little corny, but at the same time it works because it's emotional and it hits you right in the heart. And I like that a lot because that's when they were sitting in the car, I believe, right?
Yeah.
When they were looking at the people training.
Yeah.
Yeah, I thought so. Okay. No, I like that one a lot.
And my favorite scene is the final exam scene where Ruby has to, find the different objects, and then they go inside. Mm-hmm. And, you almost that entire thing is kind of through Ruby's perspective, which I thought was really good. Like, it cuts back and forth really very nicely. And I just absolutely loved that scene. It was really, really well done.
No doubt. I enjoyed that one as well.
So, I mean, we just got to give our ratings and wrap it up, tie it with a bow.
This is a pretty short episode for you guys. I hope you guys
because there wasn't a lot. There wasn't a lot of information on it because it was overshadowed by the Atom Project.
Yeah, definitely. So obviously we rate these on 3 different scales: acting, plot, and overall rating. Let's have you go first.
So the acting was good. For the script not being so good, the acting was very good. So I'm going to give it an 8 out of 10. For the plot, I really enjoyed the plot of this movie, and I liked how that at the end of the film you figure out that Ruby saves the boy, and it's Pat Ittman's son.
Yeah,
which
I like that a lot.
think that was really
It
good.
was a good twist.
Yeah. So
And,
I'm gonna give the plot an 8 as well. Overall rating, I'll probably go with 8. So straight 8s across the board.
Okay, for me, we have acting, plot, and overall. Acting, I'm going to go with a 7, but not because of the acting itself. Obviously, you have
Right.
to use a script to act, and the script was let me down a lot, so I'm going to go with a 7 on acting. Plot, I'm going to go with an 8 because I enjoyed the story, and like what you said, there's a twist at the end where we figured out the son is Pat Inman's son, which was a good twist, and not something I saw because I could have predicted the entire story leading
Right.
up to that.
Yeah.
So, at least most people, I think, could have. And so that is an 8. And then plot. So overall, I'm going to go with a 7.
Okay.
Not a great film, but it was a good family movie. And it's something to watch when you're feeling down. It's an uplifting film. And I thought it was really, really good.
Yeah, it was great. I
really
really
enjoyed
enjoyed it. And once again, the cinematography was wild, and it was amazing. And I really hope to start seeing this more in movies.
Yeah, no doubt. This is something that really carried the film. I think if it didn't have such good cinematography, it would not have been as entertaining as it was. Because like we said, the script is not very great.
Right.
So yeah, that pretty much wraps up episode 7 of the One Shot Pod. Hopefully you guys did enjoy.
Yep. And this is a bit of a shorter one, so maybe, if this is your first episode, it's a good one for you, so it's not too long.
Yeah, let us know what you guys think, and we will see you in a few weeks.
Yeah. Actually, before we head off, we do want to say, if you guys have any movies suggestions,
if you guys anything, let us know.
Anything, DM us on Instagram. Tell us your favorite scenes in movies that we should do. If you want to be a special guest, if you're in the area, let us know. We'll definitely take note of that. Just DM us on Instagram.
Yeah, definitely. And if you have any scenes that you want us to break down within a certain film, let us know. We will definitely go into certain detail on these certain scenes because, like we said, we have certain scenes that we really love to break down in certain films. So, yeah, that's really it.
But yeah, so that wraps up episode 7, Rescued by Ruby.
Yeah, we'll see you guys in a little while.
Yeah, this has been the One Shot Podcast.
We'll see you soon.
See ya.